and we've had authors from all over to travel to Lanham, Maryland to do the interview with us live and in the studio. And it's a great opportunity to showcase men and women of God who use writing as a tool for Christian ministry. And then COVID, the coronavirus hit, and everything shut down. And I just didn't feel comfortable going into the studio, and it forced us to kind of think differently about the way we had been doing the TV show. And so I made the decision to launch independently instead of going through the WBGR Gospel Network, to launch independently as a TV show on YouTube. And we've been preparing for that launch. The official launch is next month, the first Friday in March. And we're gearing up for a new season. And we're really excited. We have, as a matter of fact, the month of March is already booked. The shows will premiere that each Friday in March at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can just go to YouTube and just do a search of Christian authors on tour, and the channel will pull up. And you can put my name in, Lynn Pinder, and the name will pop up. And the channel will pop up. I do ask that you subscribe. Please subscribe to our channel. And, check out the broadcast. And even before next month, even before March 5th, which is the premiere of the first broadcast, you can go to that channel, you can go to the CAOT TV is what we call it on YouTube, and you can watch past episodes of the CAOT TV show. You can also watch just some short video clips, and a couple of them are of you, Pastor Steve. And what we do is we feature some short video clips of some of the different authors that we've had the honor of working with over the years.
It's amazing how you can expose things and compliment people at the same time. It's very smooth. That's why you're a Wonder Woman. Because I was like, my mouth fell over, like, what? Before I could say anything, it was done. That's professional TV stuff. Lord have mercy. All I can say is that if you don't know about TV and video, when I went out there, being shanghaied by that little midget in media, he didn't tell me I'd be exposed and sitting in the hot seat, the red seat, until I got there, and I was on the camera, and it was like, can you handle the red seat? It's the hot seat. So it'd be asking a lot of questions, and I don't know if you'll be able to handle it. So I had to put on my. I baited him in. I let him go ahead and think he was getting me, and when it came time to do so, I showed him.
And that's right. You make sure your listeners know that they can go to our YouTube channel and watch that video. That was probably one of the funniest interviews that we've ever done, and that's what I love about talking to you, Pastor Steve, because you always have us laughing. And so I think we probably laughed more in that interview than we've ever laughed. So that's just great. So if your listeners haven't watched that episode, they need to go to look up the CAOT TV show on YouTube, look up Pastor Steve Turner to watch that episode.
Everyone usually starts laughing when they just mention my name or something. My wife laughs automatically when I say, "You married to Steve Turner?" I'm like, "What's so funny?" But somebody asked her, "How do you deal with him?" And she says, "I wake up to him laughing and joking and cracking jokes." Well, it says the laughter makes the heart merrier, and it's good medicine. So that's a good thing. I was moving through Facebook, and I happened to see some postings, and I think you made a post of the impeachment trials in D.C.
Yeah.
What was the outcome? What was the outcome according to you?
I've been, as a political science major, this is something that just gets me going. So, I've been watching the hearings over the past couple of days, So, absolutely, look, I'm guilty.
Well,
I'm guilty.
You can help yourself. It's all over TV.
I couldn't help myself, But even when I wasn't watching TV, when I was driving, I had it on in the car on the radio. So,
okay.
I had it on in the car, on the radio while I was driving, and so, everybody was focused on the fact to say, hey, They didn't find him guilty, but in essence they did. 57 senators voted that he was guilty. 57, and that's more than 50% of the Senate. 43 found him not guilty, and of the 57 senators, 7 were Republicans. Of course, the majority were Democrats, and 2 were independents. Now, only 7 Republicans voted principles over party. The other Republicans, the other 43, chose to protect the party line and made a required 2/3 majority vote impossible. So for those of you who aren't political science majors who are saying to yourself, well, 57 is more than 43, so how come they still didn't, find, how come he still is, was able to get away with it? Well, the Constitution says it's not enough to just have more than enough. You have to have what they call it, 2/3 majority. And the reason why they want 2/3 majority is so that it doesn't seem like one party is dominating over the other. And so, those senators, those 43 senators, they weren't going to break the party line. And for some people, that's an awakening, but for many of us, that's no surprise for us. But the true test of this trial was really that it was symbolic, and it will go down in history that 57 out of 100 senators voted that Trump was guilty as charged. Now, it doesn't matter that many of the 43 senators that voted him not guilty are now coming back and saying how wrong Trump was and, he needs to be held accountable. If that were the truth, if they really felt that way, they would have voted, to vote him guilty. But it's just something of a testament to be able to see that people will people will do what they want to do when they feel like it will work for them. So you hear the senators saying, you hear some senators saying, well, now we're going to talk to Trump to see how we can win the Republican Party back. And you really think about how ludicrous that is. Well, here's a man that was just voted out of office. So the majority of the people of the country don't want him in office, including most of the people in your Republican Party. That's why he wasn't able to win the office. So why are you spending so much time trying to stroke him? And you have to wonder, what is it that Trump has over those 43 senators that would make them so like puppets?
Say what someone. Let me say what someone else said. Before I say that, let's just say that we have 43 senators who are a bunch of cowards, who are traitors to this country, who should be executed. I mean, I'm talking about, I thought in the Constitution that any traitor to America would be put up in front of a firing squad. That's what I thought was in the Constitution. Benedict Arnold met his fate because he betrayed this country. And heading the pile should be Donald J. Trump. I will not give him the respect to say, former president, he's nothing but a Russian affiliate who should be ousted from this country. That's my opinion. And so what someone told me was that Trump has, I guess, a foul on most of the senators there, but he caught them in doing things that they have no business doing.
I won't go as far to say. I believe it, Pastor Steve. Now, I won't go as far to say that I think he should go before a firing squad. I think that's a bit extreme for me, but I do believe that he has. I do believe that he has something scandalous on those senators, particularly the ones that were so against him in the very beginning, and then you saw them do a 360-degree turn, and that only happens when somebody is pulling your strings, and so
that's right.
It's really interesting to see just the dynamic in terms of how all of this plays out.
Especially your buddy, Mitch McConnell. I really don't think that Donald Trump should be. I'm going to vote for Will. That's what I'm going to do because I'm Mitch McConnell.
Well, it really is. Again, it's a stark reminder of what this country is about. It's a slap in the face to all of us, just like. Yes, over the past couple of years, the issues that have been going on with the killings, by police officers, by so-called security community forces. Again, it's a wake-up call, and it's a reminder to us not to get too comfortable.
Nothing has changed since we got off the boat. In that respect. And so,
some things have changed since we got off the boat.
Well,
some things have changed since we got off the boat, but what hasn't changed is the hatred. And so the hatred is still there. So it's almost as if it's like it's dressed up real pretty now. When we got off the boat, it was just ugly, But over the years, they've worked really well to make it look pretty so that it can almost be deceptive if you aren't alert enough to realize that, hey, that's trouble right there. You might think that it's something that's good for you until you get bit by it.
Racism is everywhere. In the socioeconomic issues. Matter of fact, I'll just say that I think it was Wells Fargo that began to, when we had the breakdown of the real estate industry, they were actually giving funding and loans to black folks who could not afford to do it. They did it on purpose. And actually, the secret files, they referred to us in certain terms among the departments as mud people. I talked about it last week where American Airlines gave a ticket to someone, and when they got back home and they looked at the receipt, it says that it was an African-American surcharge just for dealing with our bands.
Yeah.
So it's still there. It's hidden to some degrees. It's coded, but it's still there. When they call you Missy for women, and they call you a boy, and then, excuse me, who are you talking to? Oh, I mean, not disrespect you. Well, you did. Say it again so I can pop you. So, but you're supposed to be a pastor. I know I was supposed to be a pastor. I am a pastor. You didn't think about that when you said what you said. And before I became a pastor, I was a man, black man. So, good people like yourself here can keep me in line. So
I think that's why it's so important for us to have groups like Christian Authors on Tour. And that's what I love about our group, because the authors that we work with, they come from all backgrounds. They're writing books that's hitting on all topics. Like we had a book club session yesterday with Pastor Kevin Wayne Johnson, and the focus was on leadership with a servant's heart. And, when we need to have those type of conversations, because Donald Trump was a leader, but he definitely was not a leader with a servant's heart. And so we need to really have those types of conversations so that we're clear as Christians what leadership should really look like. What is righteousness? What is righteous leadership, and what is foul leadership? And we need to be clear that, we sometimes in our responses, we'll say, well, that's why we need to do that. But just because someone else is foul doesn't